Now, complete high school football coverage. This is 10 Sports First and 10. Brought to you by these sponsors.
Welcome into the big show, everybody. It's time for week 3 of First and 10. Your captain, Eric Johnson, speaking, telling you to come take a ride on the fantastic voyage. Yes, you guessed it. It's going to be live, all the way live, so just sit back and stay a while, folks. We start with our trivia question per usual. This former quarterback turned tight end who started his career as a walk-on recently recorded his first career collegiate touchdown. Ponder over that as we move throughout the evening. As well as that, you can head on over to WSLS.com, the First and 10 section, for all the latest scores and any highlights you may have missed during the previous 2 weeks. Now, that brings us to our game of the week. Two teams that haven't missed a beat at the start of the season. Patrick Henry and Franklin County. Two balanced teams that happen to be regional foes. We haven't seen this matchup since 2014, so what were we in store for down in Rocky Mount? Well, let's go down and show you what we had on hand. Franklin County honoring local veterans tonight, even wearing specialty jerseys thanks to the National Guard. On their first drive of the game, 3rd and long from the 22, Winston Davenport over the top to Daniel Ramsey, wide open touchdown catch, 7-0 lead. End of the quarter on a 4th down. The Patriots defense steps up in a big way. Fred Callaway with the takeaway. And yes, the Patriots are indeed going to cash in. Jake Painter to Cam Hairston. Shreds tacklers and is up the field for a 40-yard touchdown. With the 2-point conversion, it's an 8-7 PH lead. Later in the quarter, another dime from Painter to Hairston. 28-yard score. Made it 15-7, and the Patriots are pulling away. Just before halftime, Hairston with an absolutely incredible catch. You got mossed on the sidelines right there. My goodness, Demarion Purdue finished off the drive with a short touchdown, 22-7 PH at the break. Eagles came within 8 points, but the PH defense stingy like a spoiled child. And Purdue scored 2 more times in the second half. Patriots are now 3-0 with a 36-14 win.
People play us the way they do. They're going to, sometimes they're going to give up big plays, and our kids take advantage of it. Our quarterback did a great job. Again tonight, 3 games on the road, and we're 3-0, so that's huge.
We work, and it's all paying off, man. We all really disciplined. And in practice, we listen to our coaches, and our coaches put us in positions to make plays. So.
All right, over to the Cliff now. Another River Ridge versus Blue Ridge battle. Salem at William Fleming. The Spartans off to a not-so-good start. 0-2 for the first time since 1997. Fleming trying to send them to 0-3. On the opening drive is Jasier Preston finding Zion Baskerville deep for a circus catch. That puts the Colonels inside the red zone. 2 plays later, Kamari Stillman thunders in for the 7-0 lead. Salem bounces right back. Kaished Arrington breaking around the corner. 35-yard scamper and score, and we're all tied at 7. But the Fleming offense put together another sustained drive in the waning minutes of the first quarter. Stillman coming through for yet another touchdown run. 14-7 Colonels. Later in the second, Fleming overcomes some self-inflicted wounds, converting on a 4th and 21 over the top. Preston to his main man, Dwayne Roberts, for a 29-yard score. William Fleming, 34-13 Salem, now 0-3 on the season. William Byrd has looked nearly flawless 2 weeks into the season. A stingy defense and complimentary offense has been on display. Could they take that act on the road to Christiansburg? Let's take a look at this one. The Blue Demons, of course, looking for the home win. The Terriers, however, started out Little Caesar style, hot and ready. Jamez Toller, look at this, 55-yard trot to the promised land, and it's an early 7-0 lead for William Byrd. But it's not just their offense getting it done. Andrew Reynolds intercepts the tip pass, takes it back all the way to the 3-yard line. Toller would finish off that drive, and it was 17-0 for William Byrd. Before the half ends, to extend the lead, Terriers throw a pick right in the hands of Brock Schetzaler to prevent Byrd to run away with the game. However, with the ball to start the second half, Blue Demons go to the air, find a wide-open receiver for it to bounce off the helmet, scooped up for an amazing interception by Tyler Harris, and Toller back to work here. Terriers go on to win this one by a score of 38-0. How about Hidden Valley trying to find its footing under alum and first-year coach Bud Tolliver this evening? Of course, visiting Northside Vikings, trying to ruin all kind of plans, having no issues finding their stride thus far. Here we go out to this one, over to Bogle. Hidden Valley looking for some early momentum. However, Northside would get an early touchdown right here on the ground. They're getting it done. Casey Hall getting it to his main man in the backfield. Yet again, Hall is going to come up with another deep pass through the air, and the Vikings are rolling 14-0 at this point. Hidden Valley going to try to fight back. It's Aiden Burkhart going to come up with a sack here, and he had back-to-back sacks, in fact, the Titans did, but have no fear. Hall will find Avon Ratcliffe later in the game, and Northside rolls once again 58-0 for the final score in this one. We go to the NRV now, where Blacksburg has turned heads with his 2-0 start. They traveled to Floyd County, where they dominated the Buffaloes until Tim Cromer came to town last year. Could Floyd County make it back-to-back wins over the Bruins? Let's head out to Floyd, where the band was setting the tone. The Buffaloes were up 10-0. We'll pick it up in the fourth. It's Sam Phillips, 4-yard rushing touchdown, 18-7 at this point with the 2-point conversion. Later, with 7 minutes left in the game, it's the reigning 1st and 10 player of the week, Sam Sheff, cooking up a 50-yard touchdown run. It's an 18-13 score. Later in the game, how about a 41-yard bomb from Phillips to Gabe Hullett to ice the game? Floyd County will score a few plays later, and they go on to get the victory over Blacksburg tonight, 32-20.
Well, just very happy. You know, this is a big win versus Blacksburg, Class 4 team. We had 2 weeks off. We played Naras, and it was a tough win 2 weeks ago, and we didn't play really well fundamentally, but our team fought, and as you could see it tonight, I mean, we've made a lot of improvement, and then Blacksburg just kept coming back. We basically were in the lead most of the game, and every time they came back, we responded.
How about Glenvar hosting Cade Spring on homecoming night? Could the Knights ruin the party? Early on, Brody Doyot taking the handoff, changes direction, walks into the end zone. Glenvar's up 7-0 early in the first. Highlanders get the ball back, but on 4th down, they got to convert. High snap, Doyot under pressure, scrambles, chucks it up, finds Jace Forster, who turns it up the field, gets some extra yardage right there. That will set up Glenvar at the end zone once again. Doyot on the RPO, keeps it himself, dragged down, but he broke the plane. Glenvar had no issues once again tonight with a big 49-3 victory. How about some other scores? Allegheny on the road getting the victory 36-26. Rockbridge County falls short to Stanton 14-7. Roanoke Catholic played at Catholic, 6 points shy of a victory there. And of course, Eastside outlasting Rural Retreat 36-35. Magna Vista over Rustburg tonight, 41-13, while Amherst County served up a shutout at Mecklenburg County. JF on the road at Mount Airy, North Carolina, 42-7. PH Glade Spring, 15-8 over J.I. Burton. And how about Stanton River? Golden Eagles soaring once again, 41-20 victory. They say the hardest part about being number one, well, is staying number one. Lord Botetourt isn't exactly first in our latest 10-strong poll, but they are towards the top. Could they make a case to move on up this week with Altavista in town? While in Buchanan, James River welcome to Pioneer District Power in Parry McCluer. And Sea of Heritage could get back on track against Appomattox County, plus this.
We're the Floyd County Cheerleaders. Stay tuned for more 1st and 10 on WSLS 10.
Welcome back. Two teams trending in the right direction thus far, Parry McCluer and James River. The Knights with renewed energy under first-year coach Jack Baker. Let's get you out to the highlights of this one in Buchanan. They came out hoping to put on a show for the homestand, of course. They wasted no time. Gavin Benz, 37 yards all the way for the early touchdown. It's a 7-0 lead. James River trying to score again. Merritt Hammonds hands off to Benz. He gets all the way to the corner to the 1-yard line. After a penalty, the Knights would try again from 15 yards out. Hammonds passes to Josiah Merchant, who makes this great catch for the touchdown. Penalty no good. James River would try one more time, this time on a 4th down. But Hammonds' pass tipped, and they turned the ball over to the Blues. However, the Knights would go on to get the victory tonight by a score of 35-7. Patrick County was on the road down in North Carolina. They get the victory 55-7, while Carroll County rolls over Galax 71-0. Our breakdown matchup of the night, Altavista at Lord Botetourt. The Colonels had a triumphant comeback win over Riverheads last week, while the Cavaliers are simply built for tough. It was rec night in Daleville, and the kiddos excited to join the Cavalier on the field at halftime. Altavista down 35-14 when Cooper Brooks looks down the field and hits LaDarion Farmer. Look at him go for the 18-yard gain. A few plays later, Cooper to Jontez Lee. He races down the field, making some great cuts, and scores on the 27-yard touchdown. Botetourt still ahead by 14. Cavaliers come right back. Quentin Jones, we know that is a bad man right there. Keeps the ball, takes it up the middle for the 5-yard score, 42-21. LB would grind the ball out in the fourth quarter. Angel Rigney will lead the charge as he drives all the way down the sideline for good field position. LB goes on to get the victory tonight, 49-21.
I mean, you know, always proud of them no matter what, win or lose. The only time I ever get irritated is when I feel like they haven't given full effort, you know, doing what they're supposed to do to represent themselves for their community.
How about an early season surprise in Southside, Tunstall? The Trojans have scored over 40 points in each of their first 2 games thus far, trying to keep that streak going with Gretna in town. Quite different, however, against the Hawks. The Gretna running onto the field, as were the Trojans. And look at this. They're going to get things going with an over 50-yard rushing touchdown from the first play of the game from Khalil Waller. 6-0 Gretna in the lead. Immediately after the score, Gretna recovers an onside kick. This time it's senior Rayshawn Logan keeping it himself. Gretna goes up 12-0. Gretna's not done yet in the first quarter. After forcing a Tunstall turnover in the red zone, Waller escapes again. 95-yard touchdown. This puts Gretna over 200 yards rushing in the first quarter alone. Now in the second, Jamarion Jones-Carter decides he wants in on the action. The sophomore is going to carry it over 20 yards for the score, and the Hawks get the convincing 38-12 victory. Out east, Heritage had a tough start on the road in West Virginia, a chance to bounce back with a matchup at home with Appomattox County. Beautiful night in the Hill City to be at City Stadium. We'll pick this up in the second half. Pioneers up 28-0, looking for more. It's Aiden Slash. Play action gets the Raiders to bite, leaving Dominic Jones wide open in the secondary for the touchdown, 35-0 at this point. Raiders get on the scoreboard. Montravius Fitch is going to hit Noah Christian to make it 35-7. Slash would respond. He's got his man Jaden Miller over the middle into the end zone. It's 42-7 at this point. Fitch adds the final score when he connects with Christian yet again in the final seconds. However, all Pioneers, 42-14 the final. Coach Brad Bradley proud of his guys tonight.
Kids win games, coaches lose games tonight. That's all my guys. And they worked their butts off. They had a great week of practice after a rough start, and they gathered. And if we can keep that same momentum, we can be a pretty good football team.
All right, how about some other scores out from the Dogwood District? William Campbell falls short to Buckingham County. Chatham over SMLCA 26-19. And how about Dan River, or I should say Bassett over Dan River by a score of 52-14. Let's go to Brookville now, where the community is mourning the loss of custodian Harold Manley, who passed away at the age of 57. Before the game, a moment of silence, and of course, as you saw there, his jersey represented at the coin toss. The Bees would sting first with Cameron Underwood scoring from 6 yards out, 7-0 lead over Halifax County. Bees defense get in on the fun. Kamari Braxton scoops up the fumble, and he's in for 6. 15-0 lead after a 2-point conversion. Looking to rumble down the field there. Lincoln McDaniel, the Bees quarterback, breaks 4 tackles on a short touchdown run. That made it 21-0 at this point. Brookville defense matching score for score with its offense in the first half. Jameer Davis takes the interception the length of the field. And how about Brookville continuing to impress with a 49-0 victory at home tonight? Eastmont going to try and defend their home turf with Northwood in town. However, it will be the Panthers that will strike. Brody Waddle gets taken down to the ground, still crosses the plane, 24-12 before halftime. Now in the third quarter, Eastmont looking for points. Chase Bierman wants to pass, gets hit, and the ball is loose. Northwood is going to recover this fumble here. However, they will end up giving it right back off their own turnover the very next play, and we fast forward in the quarter, it's going to be Junior Waddle yet again, making moves, slips off one tackle, throws a shoulder, and he made it 25-14. Northwood goes on to get the win 32-22. How about Chilhowie over Narrows tonight, 27-0. Auburn over Fort Chiswell, 29-13. And Virginia High over George Wythe, 40-10. How about Grayson County over Tazewell, 45-3. Bland over Twin Valley, 42-28. Giles wins 52-6. And, of course, your news and notes before we leave you here tonight. Cup Series qualifying. Allmendinger is on the pole for Bristol. Almirola is your Xfinity Series winner tonight. And the Commanders' defensive end Dietrich Wise Jr. out for the season with a torn quadriceps. And the answer to tonight's trivia question, that quarterback turned tight end who recently recorded his first college touchdown, Bassett's own Jarekus Hairston, who's, of course, now with Virginia Tech. That'll do it for Week 3. We'll see you next week for Week 4.